Hey, so how's it going? We're going to do a book review here of Tobira, Gateway to Advanced Japanese, Learning Through Content and Multimedia. As the title says, it is a book to get you to the advanced levels or the upper levels of Japanese, using additional contents and multimedia aside from the book. I believe that a lot of the stuff is on their website. I haven't really used the site or checked it out too much. You can get the audio for the lessons there and additional like PDFs and things like that. I believe they have videos, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see, so it's 15 lessons in total, and we'll go ahead and look at the drawing a blank on what this contents page. So we'll start from the first lessons. I won't read each lesson, this lesson, that lesson. I'll just read the what the lesson's about. So let's see. The first lesson is Japanese geography. After that, it's speech style, which is basically the different levels like politeness that exist in Japanese. That's what that lesson covers. Japanese technology, sports, food, religion. Oh, Japanese and religion. Japanese pop culture, Japanese and traditional like theater and things like that. Japanese education. Then we get to lesson 10, something along the lines of like a convenience store or something that's like a store that's practical, or Japanese stores that are practical, something like that. Japanese religion. I don't know what 12 is. It's something to do with traditional something. After that, it's the Japanese and nature. The last couple lessons are Japanese politics and let's see, Seikai to watashi no kuni no mirai. So that is the world and my country's future. Something about like environmentalism or something. I haven't gotten to that lesson. I've listened to them all, but I haven't read them all yet. So, here are the aims of the book. So it's designed for students who have completed a beginning Japanese textbook, or in terms of classroom time, somewhere from 250 to 300 hours of Japanese study. The primary goal is twofold: to solidify the grammar, vocabulary, and kanji foundations built in the students' study at the beginner level, to expand their 4 language skills, speaking, listening, reading, and writing, and your sociocultural knowledge they have, they need for Japanese, or communication in Japanese, and so on and so forth. I think, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people use Genki, the Genki textbook series 1 and 2, and then move on to this. I believe that's from what I read. They're not related as far as I can tell, but from what I've read online, people will do that. So let's skip past most of this and go ahead and show the first lesson. And so each page, or each first lesson starts out like this. You get, first lesson, Japanese geography, and then we start here with, let's see, before the text, so some exercises for you to kind of practice, 次の質問に答えなさい. Please answer the next question. わからなかったら本やインターネットで. So if you don't understand, use a book or the internet. And 日本の人口はどのぐらいですか? So like, what's Japanese population? It's 127 million people. What countries are near Japan? So like Korea, Russia. I mean, Russia's near everyone. China. So these are like the lessons you start out with, and then this is like the pre-lesson, and I think, so we have here, this is kind of an interesting idea. Let's see if we can zoom in here. So have you write out the like what the word is. So chiri, which is geography, so you have to write that out, and then kind of like to solidify it or get you to use the word, or make that association between the languages. And then here we go. This one's actually a pretty long lesson, or pretty long text here. It looks like over 30 sentences plus. This covers the Japanese geography. They give you a map and it shows you all the prefectures and everything. Let's see. And then afterwards, the next page has the vocabulary list. They do give you the kanji list, or the words in kanji, and then obviously in Ghana, or can't think of what is that word? Not furigana, but kana. Let's see. Afterwards, they have almost every lesson has this. After you get past the initial text, you have a conversational text. Usually there are a couple of them. And then you get like cultural notes here. Like this one is about Hinamatsuri. It's like the Hina, let's see, Dolls Festival or Girls' Day. Kodomo no Hi, Children's Day, so on and so forth. And then you have a second, what's the word? Conversation. Usually the first text isn't conversational, it's just like you're reading, something educational. Afterwards you get the conversations. And then there's some exercises after that about the content. And then you get into, you have these conversations here, which are, you read them and then you're supposed to do them as an exercise afterwards. So use them as you're supposed to use the conversation practice as an example for you doing, actually writing it out and whatnot. So let's see. And then something that's actually really cool about this is it will give you the participants who's speaking here. So let's see if that'll zoom in. Get that here. So we have here teacher, and then we have the student. And the stars represent the speech level. So 1 is very informal, 2 is, moderately formal, and 3 is very formal. So the teacher is talking in a much more typical, it's polite, but isn't like very honorific, whereas the student is talking in a much more honorific fashion. The next one is a 1 star, so you're getting very informal language. It's very important in Japanese to to learn the differences between formal and informal. So, and there are a lot of like group discussions, like role play here. I'm learning on my own, so I can't really use that. Then we get into the, so I can't really comment whether that's good or not, but grammar notes. So this covers over the grammar within the lesson. Actually, what's really nice about this too is, so like dekiru, de toka kara dekiru, so this gives you a specific grammatical feature, and then it gives you part of it from the text itself, and I'll tell you which pages, where it's at, and then it gives you an explanation, and then it gives you, translation in English, and then it gives you bunke, like another form of it, and then it gives you about 5 examples. Let's see. Yeah, that's how it is for all the grammar. Sometimes there are less examples, by the way, like this one has 3, that one 3, that one 4, so but you'll get several examples, and then sometimes more, sometimes less from the text. So let's see, go ahead and skip past that, and then we get the kanji page, kanji hyo, like kanji list. So yeah, you get the character. You're not getting the stroke orders or anything, but you're getting the character, and then it's obviously the reading, not the meaning or anything like that. So, but that should be already covered in the text. Maybe not the specific meaning per kanji, but the word. And then we have here an additional note, and let's see, aisatsu to fira. Aizuchi to fira. So, this is kind of a text in Japanese to explain to you like in this case this is a grammar point, or like saying the word like hai, or or so desu ka, like those types of words, what they're used for. So let's see, and that is the end of the first lesson. There's a point I wanted to make, and it slipped my mind what it was. But yeah, so every lesson goes along that lines. You get lots of examples in the grammar. Excuse me, and they're actually fairly well done. I have to admit, I'm actually pretty impressed with the book overall, just due to the sheer amount of content. And let's see, go ahead and skip past here. Little areas I'm having trouble with, so I'm marking them. Let's see. And each lesson is pretty varied. I think it was lesson 5 is kind of interesting. For example, they talk about cup ramen, cup noodles. And this lesson's actually kind of cut short here, just blank at the end there. And it's because you're actually supposed to continue to read it as like a manga style. So not everything in there is like this, but it's, to give you kind of an introduction to the culture and how people read things like that. So you get it in the, top to bottom script or writing format. That's what I wanted to say. I remember now. So the lessons are recorded, usually from the, let's see, let's do like lesson 5 here. So this is the first reading you have. That is recorded. Then you get into the conversations. I don't know about this noodle one, though. I don't remember that one. But normally, yeah, like, here we go. Conversation is conversation 1, conversation 2. Those are recorded. And then you get into the, like I said, the practice conversations. Those are recorded. And then, again, all Japanese. There might be some English words that come up as part of the explanation within a conversation. Like, oh, whatever, this means this in English, and then it'll continue in Japanese. Or they'll just say, like, usually a couple of words. It won't be, like, the whole explanation in English, but then you get these notes at the end. Those are usually also those are usually also recorded, and it's all Japanese. So it's actually really, really, they did a really good job on the audio, I have to be frank on that. That's something I found with a lot of books that I have, is that not having sufficient audio for Japanese. And part of the problem with that is that some of the books I have are older, but another issue I found is some of the English courses, unfortunately, they often have lots and lots of English on there, which actually kind of makes learning a little bit hard. Colloquial Japanese has that issue, and which one was it? It's the not the current version of Living Language Japanese, but it was the older version of Living Language Japanese. So the older advanced version. I don't know about the newer ones. I haven't used those, but yeah, that is an issue with some of the audio sometimes when trying to learn. Is that well, those companies in particular, they do that with all the languages, so it's not specific to Japanese. But rambling now. But yeah, so it's overall it's a good book. A couple points I wanted to also forgot to go to was you do have the vocabulary at the end of the book. So if you don't know something, you get the grammatical register at the end of the book, and then they give you information about the authors. On the left side, Japanese, on the right side, English, which is kind of a cool way to practice and kind of get used to a little big bibliography, like mini bibliography. So yeah, this Tobira Gateway to Advanced Japanese. I would actually recommend the book. It's pretty good. Some people said it was not quite as. There was another book. They said it was maybe a little bit lighter, a little bit softer than some other sources out there or some other resources out there. It's not going to strain you too much, I don't think. But it's, I would agree with that because I don't think it will strain you too much. But it will definitely get you. It will definitely introduce you to a lot of new vocabulary, a lot of new grammatical structures, and give you a lot of explanations and multiple examples. So I really would highly recommend the book if you're studying Japanese. Yeah, it's pretty good overall.